Thank you so much.
Right. We can see and hear you well, ma'am. Barring that, your video is slightly shaky. It looks like a Wi-Fi issue, the internet issue. Slightly, there are times when the video goes unclear.
Okay. Should I connect to another internet connection
Either
and
you
just
can do that, ma'am, or reduce the number of gadgets that have been connected to the Wi-Fi. To the educators who have joined us today, we have some educators as well along with students. So we welcome you all, yes, to a very crucial session that we've planned for you today. And Rekha ma'am, we welcome you once again on the behalf of Career Launcher family. Thank you for consenting to do this. And as we all understand that there has been a lot of confusion during COVID, and during this time, children have been confused about the change in the curriculum, in subjects and overall, and a lot of questions have been raised where they want us to clarify as to how should they go about their preparation in the coming times. So I, Neha Wahi, welcome all the students, and I know that you're all confused and eager to learn, and we have the right person to guide you. So let me quickly introduce Rekha ma'am to each one of you before I hand it over to her. So, ma'am is the senior math faculty at the Alcon Public School, New Delhi. Ma'am has done her mathematics honors from Delhi University's Jesus and Mary College, and she topped the South Campus with 90%. Ma'am has also done her B.Ed. Further on, ma'am has worked with Alcon for 29 years, and her teaching experience has been rich. And there have been a lot of activities that ma'am has been involved in. As you can see, she's worked with the NCRT and has also worked with the team that wrote the mathematics laboratory manuals for class 3rd and 10th. She is 3rd to 10th rather. She has also started the math lab in her own school and written the manuals for the same. Ma'am incidentally also runs a YouTube channel by the name of Rekha Math, and we've also shared the link for all of you for who would like to follow ma'am. You could take a screenshot or copy this link. We'll copy this for the audience in the chat box as well, so that you can make use of ma'am's expertise. So students, what we are going to do for you is ma'am is going to simply explain the whole stuff to you for about 60 minutes, but I'll request you to please keep noting down your questions, because this has to be a very interactive session and we really want you to gain out of this. So please use the chat boxes to keep noting down your questions. Towards the end of the session, we'll request ma'am to answer your questions. And I'm sure that if you are patient, if you're hearing ma'am, she won't leave any question unanswered for you. So with this, Rekha ma'am, I'm going to hand this over to you. I'm going to stop the share so you can comfortably start sharing the screen now. Those of you students who'd like to switch on their cameras, you're most welcome to do that. It's very encouraging for the students, because we don't feel that we are encouraging for the speaker, because the speaker doesn't feel that we are speaking to a wall. So please go ahead and switch on your camera. It'll be great to see you all in the early winter evening. With this, Rekha ma'am, over to you. I'll be there to assist you in case anything is needed. Thank you, Samyak. Nice of you to switch on your camera.
so I can share my screen right
Right, ma'am.
now? Yeah, is my screen?
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible. And those of you who are writing to me that you can't switch on your camera, please don't worry. That's all right. You can keep talking to us over the chat box. You can just kindly stay active and participative. This is being. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much, Neha, for the kind introduction. A very good evening to one and all present here. Children, I hope all of you are keeping safe by wearing your mask, maintaining social distancing, not moving out of your house unnecessarily, and taking care of your elders, especially your grandparents. Children, understand one thing, your grandparents are the ones who are the most vulnerable during this pandemic. So you must take out some time from your busy schedule, sit with them, talk to them, listen to their stories, and listen to their experiences also. You know, their experiences are really enriching, and you will love hearing to them. You are going to learn a lot. You know, that way it will make them happy, and in turn, you will also become happy. You know, the greatest happiness comes from making others happy. I hope you all understand that. So, for this, I would like to just quote a simple statement here. that happiness is a kind of perfume which you can't pour on others without getting few drops on yourself. So just try this way out. If you want yourself to be happy, try to make others happy. In this at this during this pandemic, I think it's best if you spend some time with your grandparents. That is very, very important. Okay, so let's now come to the main point, main topic, that is mathematics. I know most of the students feel that mathematics is a very dull, boring, dry, or difficult subject. Believe me, actually, it is not. Mathematics is a beautiful subject, you know. If you basically just look into mathematics, it's all around us. Can you see that? Everywhere you can see mathematics. It makes our life orderly and it gives us the power of reasoning, creativity, logical thinking, problem solving, and so much more. Understand one thing, children, that if you want to excel in any subject, first you have to have love for that subject. And how you can have the love for the subject? First, you have to get over with the fear of that subject. I know many students, they have mathophobia. What is mathophobia? Means fear of mathematics. They feel maths is a difficult subject. Believe me, actually it is not. ये आपको तब तक difficult लगेगा till you feel that fear. You know, for if I tell you about my own self, till class 8th, I never used to understand mathematics and I had a great fear for mathematics. But once I decided, no, I'll sit and do mathematics as far as possible. Once I started doing it, believe me, it got over. And you know, once this fear gets over, you come out as a winner. You must have heard that statement. डर के आगे जीत है. मतलब एक बार डर खत्म हो गया means now you will definitely emerge as a winner. Okay. So don't be afraid of mathematics. It's a lovely subject. Please believe me. You once you start doing it in a proper manner, you will definitely love it. Okay. Yeah, I come across many parents who normally tell me that, ma'am, my child studies mathematics the whole day, but still, when he goes for exam, he goes blank. He doesn't score good marks. I don't know what is the reason. And I hope this is a big problem with many of the, and this over an experience of so many years of teaching, I came to know what is the style of teaching of the students, which makes them feel that mathematics is difficult. You know, so what is the correct way? Basically, they don't know the correct way of studying mathematics. So let us discuss few points how you can study mathematics in an effective way. Okay, so I have written down some points over here. First of all, I would like to say make a notes copy. Okay, now this notes copy is not basically the copy in which you are going to solve all your questions of your NCRT or RD Sharma or exemplar, not that. Notes copy is a very small, thin notebook that you're going to keep with you always, and that's your personal notebook. Okay, what you have to do is you just need to note down all the key points in that notebook and the major mistakes that you people make sometimes. Okay, very casual mistakes, but frequently you make those mistakes. I'll be discussing about these mistakes in the end of at the end of the session also. Now, basically what happens, suppose as I told you my story that till class 8th, I never loved mathematics and I don't know what all I have studied till 8th. I had nothing in my mind. The moment I went to class 9th, I got a wonderful teacher and she taught me how to study mathematics. So I asked her, ma'am, I don't know, I don't have any basic concepts till class 8. How can I do it now? She said, don't worry, just make a copy, start writing all the important points right from now. So the same thing I want to tell you because I have really gained a lot out of all these things. Okay, so what you do, suppose that you are in class 10th at the moment, until class 9th you have never paid attention to the basic concepts what you have studied till class 9th. So what you need to do is whatever comes your way, suppose you are doing areas related to circles in class 10th, and in this you come across, okay, what is the area of an equilateral triangle, and you don't remember, which you have already done in class 9th but you don't know in class 10th. But while doing the questions now, when you're familiar with the formula, please make a note of it in that notes copy. Similarly, when you do say this square. If the side of the square is given to us, what is the length of the diagonal? If the side is x meter, then the diagonal will be root 2 into x. They should be very handy points which will really help you a lot during exams if you remember these points. One more example I would like to give you here. Say, for example, you do statistics. In statistics, you have the method called assumed mean method of finding the mean. Okay. Now, when you find out the assumed mean, you always have to check the column of class marks. Okay. But what I have seen, when you go for exam, students, they get so tensed. Instead of looking into the column of class marks, by mistake, they look into the column of frequency and they write this is the assumed mean, and that makes the whole question wrong. So I'm just giving you examples. Like these are the kind of points which you must note down in your notes copy. These are the points I have to remember, that while finding the assumed mean, I have to look into the column of class marks and not in the column of frequency. These important tips you have to write for yourself. Nobody is going to write for you and nobody is going to tell you that write these points. Whatever you feel is important, that you must note down in your notes copy. Similarly, the mistakes that I will be discussing during the end of the session. So what kind of common mistakes आपको जो लगता है कि आप ये mistake करते हैं बार बार, so just write down that mistake in your notebook, that I don't have to repeat this kind of mistake later on. Second is that never read the solution of any question before solving it. I know, because this was my method of studying, that is why I can easily relate that children normally what they do when they're afraid of mathematics, they don't want to solve any question on their own. They pick up the copy with the answers, they start turning the pages and they start reading, okay, this is the solution, fine. They close down the copy and start writing the answer. Again, they will pick up the copy, look into the other question, read the solution, and then write it down in the practice copy. This way, what happens? You feel that you are doing a lot of written practice. Parents also feel that my child is doing a lot of written practice. But this written practice is not done in the correct manner. This is not the right way of doing the written practice. What is the correct way is, you read the question, understand the question, try to write the solution on your own. Whatever you know, you just write down. Maybe there are 10 mistakes in that solution, doesn't matter. You just write it down and then you just open out your copy where you have already solved the question and match your answer with that notebook and see where all you have gone wrong. Then find out the points, and then those mistakes will always be remembered by you. Because you have made the mistake and then corrected it, definitely you will remember it. But if you will study that way, you read the question, write the answer, read the question, write the answer, during exam, you will totally go blank. Okay, so please don't follow that method of reading the solutions. Next is, after writing the correct solution of any problem, recall all the points and read them by reading them aloud. Means, you know how you should study basically. You're sitting in a room, you assume that somebody is sitting in front of you and start teaching him or her. You say, okay, this is the question. Here it is given that one line is parallel to one side of a triangle. So we will apply BPT in this. So basically the outline of the question you have to recall in your mind by speaking it, by recalling it aloud. Okay, because when you speak, जब आप बोलते हैं, then you are using so many of your sense organs. You are speaking, you're writing, you're listening. So many sense organs are used, and that way the study is very effective if you are using most of your sense organs while studying. The same thing applies for your SST also. When you learn SST, some children have a habit of just learning it by just speaking it within them, like they're not speaking it aloud. So that way the memorization will not be perfect in that case. Okay, so read aloud. After you have done the question correctly, just speak out the points, that these are the points which I have to follow in this question. Similarly, when you complete an exercise, you must encircle the questions which you find difficult. Basically what happens now these days, it's November, you always have time to do lots of revision at this point of time. You can do your NCRT, you can do RD Sharma, you can do NCRT exemplar together with mathematics, or the assignments provided by your teachers in the school. There are so many options you can go for, but During the exam, maybe your board exam, there are just 2 or 3 days gap in between. At that moment, you cannot sit and do each and every question of each and every chapter. It will be very difficult. Otherwise, you will be finishing off only 3 or 4 chapters and all the days will be gone. So what you do is, basically, while revising these days, what you have to do is you encircle the difficult ones. Maybe in the exercise, there are 10 questions. So out of those 10 questions, maybe first six of the questions are simple, but 4 questions you got stuck while doing the revision. That means you need to encircle those questions and keep it aside. Like while doing the revision for exams, you must do those questions at least. That is very important. Okay. Then after completing one chapter, you should be able to recall all the chapter without looking into the book. Like suppose you have done real numbers. Your chapter number 1 is real numbers. So if you close down your book and copy and simply speak to yourself, what all I have studied in this chapter. I know, first of all, I have learned fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Then I have learned this is the relationship between HCF and LCM. Then proving the irrationality of the numbers. And then I have done terminating and non-terminating decimals. If you are able to recall the entire chapter without looking into the book, this will give you a lot of confidence. You will feel that without the book, I am able to speak out. I know what all I have done in this chapter. So that will really give you a lot of confidence. Okay, just try this out once. It's very effective. And similarly, after completing the chapter, suppose you have completed the entire book you have done. Similarly, you should be able to recall all the chapters as well. Okay, chapter 1 is real numbers. This is what I have done in real numbers. Chapter 2 is polynomials. This is what I have done in polynomials. Once you will recall everything, the entire book in your mind, I think you will be very, very confident and you'll be ready for your exam. Okay. And this notes copy that you have maintained, you just keep on revising these contents during weekend. If not every weekend, yes, fortnightly you can revise, but you must keep on revising so that those concepts become a part of you and you don't feel that you have to put in extra effort to remember those points, right? Then the second point is score boosting tips for your mathematics exam. First of all, paper should be neat and tidy. This is a very, very important point. I also, being an examiner so many times for board papers, I feel the moment you open out a paper and you see the paper is very neat and tidy, it gives a very good impression on the mind of the examiner. Just understand the psychology of the examiner. When you open out anything and it looks very neat and clean, you feel so happy. And sometimes the examiner tends to overlook minor mistakes, thinking that, okay, child must have skipped it by mistake, doesn't matter, leave it. So it gives a very good impression if your paper is neat and tidy. And if it is untidy paper, in the beginning itself, you have put so many crosses and this and that. So the examiner will feel the child is underconfident. So he will try and find out more and more problems in your paper. Okay, so that is the first thing. Your paper should be neat and tidy. And how can you keep your paper neat and tidy? Must make a rough column on the right hand side of each page. You know, the width of your paper is it's very good width. So what you can do is make a rough column in the beginning of the paper. At 10 o'clock, when you receive the paper answer sheet, after filling in all the entries, you should initially make all the columns on all the pages, irrespective of whether you have to use it or not, doesn't matter. Because later on, if you're going to make it during the paper, you feel it is a wastage of time, and then you start doing your rough work without making any column. Okay, so please make sure that you make a rough column and do all the calculations in those rough columns only. Now, then I say leave a gap of 4 lines, minimum 4 lines between any 2 subsequent answers, because sometimes when you do one question after the other, immediately after the other, it becomes sometimes the examiner might overlook one of the questions. Okay, maybe by after rechecking, you can later on get your paper rechecked and get it corrected, but why to take a chance? You should be very alert for your own paper. So you must leave some gap. And suppose you're finished a question and after that about 5 or 6 lines are left on that sheet, leave it blank and move on to the next sheet for the next question. Then you must highlight the answers of each question by putting it in a rectangular or a square box. Okay, the examiner feels very happy when he looks at the answer straight away. Okay, this is the answer, right? This is a very good thing to do. Then do not forget to write the units wherever required. This is very important. In a hurry, sometimes you people forget to write the units and you keep on losing half mark in every question for not writing the units. So take care of that also. Then figures and constructions should be neatly done with a sharp pencil and try to write the commonly used solutions for your questions. This is a very important point. I know some children are very creative, very intelligent. They find out so many good solutions for some of the questions. But what I feel is when you go for a board exam, the examiner is checking so many papers. Suppose he's checking 100 papers. Out of those 100 papers, maybe 90% of the papers, the child has done the same kind of proof for a question. And some of the students have done different proof for that question. And for CBSE exams, we are provided with a marking scheme. So normally examiners go by the marking scheme. Some of the examiners might overlook your answer if it is different from others, thinking that this is a wrong answer because it is not matching with others. I'm not saying that all the examiners will do that way. Some of them will actually look into your solution, and if it is correct, they might give you the marks for that. But why to take a chance again? Whenever I talk to my students, I always tell them, had it been a school exam, I would have allowed you your method of doing it. But here in board exams, please don't take the chance. Like some of my students, they asked me once, in similar triangles for BPT, there is a proof by using similarity. It's a wonderful proof and a very short proof for that BPT. But I really appreciated that child for finding out that proof, but I asked him not to do it in board exam. Okay, we don't want to take a chance basically unnecessarily. Now the next is time management for your mathematics paper, which is very, very important. Time management. This is the best thing that CBSE has done for you all, that they're giving 15 minutes reading time. Like the moment you get the paper, you don't have to start writing. Okay, so you have 15 minutes time to prepare strategy for your paper. Go through the entire paper. Basically, you're not supposed to write anything during these 15 minutes, neither on your question paper nor on your answer sheet. But yes, you can always make a strategy. Yes, you can put a tick mark if you want, but don't write anything on the question paper. So strategy means you just see which part is very simple and you are comfortable with this part. So that kind of strategy I'll be discussing with you when I discuss the pattern of the question paper. Then start your paper with that section in which you are most comfortable. Do not spend much time on the question which you are not sure of. Obviously, when you do your paper, in that case, maybe suppose you have started your paper with part 2. While writing the questions, please don't do that way. You have started with question number 26, 26, 27, 28, 29 you have done, but 30th question you don't know. So don't think that I will be doing 30th question in the end. Maybe you can attempt that question in the end, but just write down question number 30, leave a blank page for that question, and you can attempt it later on. Haphazardly, if you do the question, examiner also gets irritated sometimes. Okay, so better one section you start, finish off all the questions together. If you're not comfortable, I'm not saying that you spend time on that question. Okay, if you're not comfortable, out of 2 mark questions, if you have done 5 of the questions, well, okay, the 6th one you don't know, just write down the question number and leave the blank space for that question. Then you can attempt it definitely in the end if you have time. Then understand the worth of each question. Worth means, yeah, this is a very important point. I will be discussing it on the next slide when I'll discuss the pattern of the paper with you. Maintain speed and accuracy hand in hand. Keep a close watch on the time and never leave any question. Again, this is a very important point. Never leave any question. If you don't know any question, write down the question number and write whatever you can understand from the question. What is given, just write down 2 or 3 lines about the question. At least the examiner knows that you tried attempting the question. What happens sometimes, it due to human error, it might be possible that some of the question in the paper is wrong, or the examiners, the CBSE feels that this question is too big for 2 marks or something like that. So they give this advice to all the examiners that you give marks, full marks to all the students who have attempted the question. If you have not attempted the question, then you will lose those 2 marks. Okay, 2 or 3 or whatever the worth of the question is. So never leave any question. If you don't know anything, write down the question number, just read the question, write down few important points, and then move on, right? Now, this time the pattern of the paper has totally changed. So I would like to discuss with you the paper. All of you are aware of this, that we have 80 marks theory paper and 20 marks is for internal assessment. So internal assessment, I'll be talking to you later on. First of all, let's talk about the theory paper. Now this 80 marks theory paper is divided into 2 parts. Okay, this is totally changed pattern. So please listen to this very carefully. 2 parts. Part A is totally objective. Part B is subjective. 40% of your paper, that means 32 marks is part A. 60% of the paper means 48 marks will be your part B. Now in part A, again there are 2 sections, section 1 and section 2. Section 1 has 16 questions, 1 mark each. So that makes it 16 marks for section 1. And section 2 has again 4 questions, 17, 18, 19 and 20. I think Neha, somebody is using annotation, please.
Ma'am, the annotation has been blocked. I'm just checking. Yes. Students kindly avoid, please. Thank you.
So, yeah, in section 2, you have, this is a new section added to your mathematics paper, that is the case study questions. There will be 4 case study questions, question number 17, 18, 19 and 20. See, there's nothing new, basically, not out of syllabus. It's all from your syllabus only. All the basic concepts that you have studied during your class 10th, they will be involved in this. Okay, so not to worry about this question. So case study questions, 4 questions. Now, in each question, you will be getting 5 questions to answer. Like question number 17, they will give you 1 case study, and based on that case study, they will ask you 5 questions, out of which you will have to answer only 4 of them. Similarly, question number 18, another case study is given to you. Out of 5 questions, you have to answer any 4. Similarly, question number 19th and 20th, 2 more case studies, and out of 5, you have to answer 4. So 4 into 4 again makes it 16. So 16 marks for section 2, 16 marks for section 1, and together we get 32 marks for part A. That is your objective type. Second is your part B, which is subjective type, which constitutes 60% of your paper. And there will be 3 types of questions in part B: 2 marks question, 3 marks question, and 5 marks question. 2 marks question will be from question number 21 to 26. And you will be provided, I think, in 2 of the questions, choice will be provided to you. So you can choose the best of the options and you can attempt that part. In 3 marks questions, there will be 7 3 marks questions. Question number 27 to question number 27 to question number 33. So again, in 3 marks question, I think in 2 of the questions, choice will be provided to you. And there will be 3 5-marker questions. Question number 34, 35, and 36. Only 3 questions of 5 marks. And in 1 of the questions, choice will be provided to you.
There is a question. The students want to know that, is this the pattern for all states? Are we talking about any specific state? But I think this is all over, ma'am, right?
This is all over, yes. Yeah, CBSE has given this pattern for all the states, I think. Actually, yeah, might be. I think the pattern is same for previously also the pattern was same. The CBSE.
It has to be same, ma'am, because CBSE remains common for every place. Yes. So Syed, as per your question, this will be for all states.
Yeah, for all the states, yes. So I just sorted out some time limit also for doing all the sections. For section 1, I believe 30 minutes is enough for you. In fact, 30 minutes is more time, but I've given you the flexibility, 30 minutes. Section 2, 30 minutes. 2 marks question, again 30 minutes. For 3 marks question, that is the biggest section out of all, 45 minutes. And again 5 marks question, 30 minutes. So that makes it 2 hours and 45 minutes, remaining 15 minutes for revision. Again, for revision, I want to just tell you something very important here, that don't keep the entire revision of the paper for the end, last 15 minutes. No, please don't do that. What I suggest is, in the end, when you do the revision, it is not very effective. You just go turn your pages and go through and see whether you have done all the parts and nothing is left, like that. That kind of revision is okay in the end. When you are attempting the questions, suppose you have attempted a question, immediately after writing it, just go through all the steps. If by chance you have make any mistake of plus sign, minus sign, or anything, multiplication, suppose you have by mistake 2 into 4, you have written 16, just correct it there and then itself. In the end, you can't find out these kind of mistakes for your paper. So that is where you kept flexible timing for each section. 30 minutes for 16 questions is too big a time, basically. So you just do the question, revise it immediately. Don't keep the revision till the end. So this time which I have allotted for each section is including the revision there and then itself, very quickly. It will not take more than, I think, half a second if you just go through the question immediately after writing. Next is, how to start the paper. That is very important. Yes, when I told you make a strategy for your paper during those 15 minutes, normally students will feel that 1 mark questions are very easy. So let's start with 1 marker question.
Rekha ma'am, there is a small doubt relating to this screen that you've just shared. So I'm sorry I butt you in between. From Aditya, he says question 34, 35 and 36 are 3 questions. Why have we written 4 into 5? He wants to understand, ma'am.
Just a minute. Maybe I have made a mistake over here. Maybe. Okay. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it should be 3 into 5. I'm so sorry. Please. That's a correction. I'll be making it. Okay.
Thank you, Aditya, for highlighting. So students, please pay note there.
3 into 5. I'm so sorry. 3 5 is 15 marks. Okay. So, yeah, I was talking about how to start with the paper. So when you when you read the questions, 1 marker questions, yes, you feel they are very easy and you can start with section 1. But this time, the kind of paper pattern you have, I will suggest you to start your paper with part B. I'll tell you the reason for this. See, in part B, you have specified questions, 2 mark questions, 3 mark questions, 5 mark questions, which you have already done in your classroom from your NCRT or from your reference books you have done. So you can very comfortably do these type of questions. Okay. Now, when it comes to 1 marker questions, they are all based on basic concepts. Okay. Even if you know the answer, you know what happens in the beginning of the paper, when you start with the 1 marker question, you think that you have enough time to do the paper, 3 hours are there. So you start writing 1 marker question in so much of detail that you forget that your time limit will lapse if you spend so much of time in 1 mark question. Because even if you write 2 pages for a 1 mark question, you are going to get only 1 mark for that question. You will not get 2 marks instead of 1 mark. Okay. So whatever is required, only the important points, important steps are required to be written in 1 marker question. What I have observed from my students, sometimes, suppose if there is a geometry question of 1 mark, which can be done in just 2-3 lines, they draw the figure, they write all the details, each and every detail, and they fill up about 2 pages for writing that 1 marker question. So if you attempt that paper in the end, the part A, if you attempt in the end, then you know that you have a time limit. Okay, you've already completed 2, 3, 5 marks questions, so you will allot the time accordingly. Okay, and second reason for not attempting part A first is because of section 2. Section 2 is based on case study question. I know it's a new thing added to your paper. So instead of doing section 1 first and switching over to part B, 2 marker, 3 marker or 5 marker questions, it's better you keep both the parts separately. Attempt part B first, complete it, and then start with part A. do section 1, and in the end you do section 2, which is based on your case study, so that whatever time you're left with, you can easily spend that time in your case study questions. Okay, because 2-3 mark questions, they are well-defined questions. You've already done those type of questions in your textbook, so you are thorough with those questions. You can immediately start and do the questions with full confidence. Okay, but for case study, yes, you need to spend some time maybe. So keep this section for doing it in the end. Okay, and I told you already that not to leave any question. That is very important. Like you have started part B, complete all the questions of part B. 2 mark a question, you have started with question number 21, 22, 23. Suppose 25th question you don't know. So after doing question number 24, you leave 1 page for question number 25, move on to question number 26, 27, and so on. Again, in between, you don't know any question, leave 1 page for that question. Don't worry about that, because in between, if you're going to spend time on that question which you don't know, then you will get confused or worried about the timing. Okay, my time is getting over and I'm still on this question. So better, if you don't know any question, leave it and do it only in the end, not in between the questions, right? So this is how I want you to go about your paper. You can see the next slide here. This is the touches and disabled, not able to move this paper which CBSE has released. These are the kind of general instructions which I've already explained to you. Let's just go through the instructions once again so that you have it in front of you with just like a paper. So general instructions are: this question paper contains 2 parts, part A and part B. Both part A and part B have internal choices. Part A consists of 2 sections, 1 and 2. Section 1 has 16 questions, and in those 16 questions, internal choice is provided in 5 of the questions. Section 2 has 4 case study based questions. Each case study has 5 case based subparts. An examinee has to attempt any 4 out of 5 subparts. I hope this point I have already made clear to you. Part B is question number 21 to 26 are very short answer type questions of 2 marks each. Question number 27 to 33 are short answer type questions of 3 marks each, and 34 to 36 are long answer type questions of 5 marks each. Internal choice is provided in 2 questions of 2 marks, 2 questions of 3 marks, and 1 question of 5 marks. Yes, children, when I was telling you to start with part B, then doesn't mean that you have to start with question number 21 itself. In part B, if you want, you can start from question number 36 as well, as you feel comfortable. You can do 36, 34, 35, 34, and you can move in the decreasing order as well. But all part B questions should be done together. Part A questions should be done together. Yes, obviously there is no hard and fast rule for this. Nobody is going to deduct your marks if you are going to do your questions in a haphazard manner, obviously. But as I told you, just understand the psychology of the examiner. When he or she checks the paper, it's very comfortable for the examiner to check the paper that way if all the questions of a single part are all together, right? So we'd like to do that. This is the same thing, sample paper for basic and standard. I'll be talking about that also. And now, internal assessment. I hope all of you are clear about the internal assessment, that 20 marks is your internal assessment, which is going to the CBSE from your school. Your school will send internal assessment marks to CBSE. First is pen and paper test. This pen and paper test is basically nothing but your periodic assessments that you do in your school. Out of all the assessments, I think from 3 of the assessments, the school will choose best out of those 3 and convert it out of 5. And that will make pen and paper test of 5 marks. You will get 5 marks from there. Then multiple assessment is a variety of assessment that the teacher is going to make about the child, how alert you are in the class, how much initiative you take in the class, how frequently you submit your homework, All these things, it's basically the overall observation of the teacher about the child. That is called multiple assessment. So that is your teacher who will give marks for multiple assessment out of 5. So these are the 10 marks. Next is your portfolio. Again, portfolio activities, I'm sure in your school, the teachers must have done portfolio activities, maybe some aptitude type of questions, some data interpretation type of questions. They have done it in the class, or whatever variety of activities they have done for portfolio. They will be giving marks out of 5 for portfolio activities. And the last one is your lab practicals. So practical activities in all the schools, I think the teachers are doing. So they will give you marks out of 5 for your practical activities as well, which will come under subject enrichment. So 80 plus 20 makes it 100 marks. Now, one more thing CBSE has introduced, and that is the art integrated learning, which will come under subject enrichment only, in which the entire class is supposed to be divided into a group of 5 or 6 students each, and you have to make one project on art integrated learning. Means, how do you introduce art in the subject, in mathematics, in SST, in science, in every subject basically. And CBSE has paired the different states, like Delhi state is paired with Sikkim state. So the students of Delhi are supposed to do projects, art integrated projects on Sikkim state, whereas the Sikkim students will do the art integrated project on Delhi state. But you have to make art integrated projects on in all the subjects. So it is not necessary that you have to make a project on Sikkim in all the subjects. Suppose you have chosen Sikkim as a topic for your SST, then in mathematics you can do with other topics as well. There are so many things we can do in mathematics, art integrated learning, like you must have heard about fractals. Fractals is self similarity. Fibonacci sequence. Then you must have heard about Platonic solids, Archimedean solids. You must have heard about tessellations. There's so many topics on which you can make your art integrated learning project. So not necessarily related to Sikkim only, but yes, out of all the subjects, it is compulsory that the student should make at least one project based on Sikkim state. Okay. So yeah, coming to standard or basic mathematics, by now I know all of you must have chosen whether you want to opt for standard or you want to go in for basic. But let me just tell you once again the difference between standard and basic. Standard maths, the students who opt for standard maths, they are eligible to opt for mathematics as a subject in class 11th. Whereas the students who will opt for basic maths are not eligible to opt for mathematics as a subject in class 11th. Yes, but suppose that the child has cleared out basic maths in class 10th, and after clearing out class 10th, he feels, no, I want to do mathematics in class 11th as well. Because once you clear out the subject, you feel confident, okay, I can do it. So why not? I can try out in class 11th as well. So CBSE has given this option that once you clear out basic maths in class 10th and you want to go in for maths as a subject in class 11th as well, in that case, what you can do is you can appear for standard mathematics paper along with the other students who are appearing for compartment exam during the same year, academic year. You can give the compartment exam, and if you get clear, then you will be eligible to take mathematics in class 11th as well. Okay, so that clarity I just wanted to make. For you've already opted for standard or basic, and standard maths doesn't mean that it is going to be a very difficult paper. Standard maths is a normal maths paper. Basic maths is supposed to be a little lesser difficulty level basically as compared to standard maths. To all the students who have opted for basic maths, I would like to tell them that please concentrate on your NCERT book. Don't leave any question or any example of your NCERT book, because it had started last year only, and by our observation we observed that most of the questions of basic maths, they were from NCERT. So thinking that this question is difficult from NCERT, I can leave it because I have opted for basic maths. Don't do that, even if it is difficult. But if it is in NCERT, it might come in exam. So do your NCERT book, basically do it nicely so that you can easily score marks in basic maths also. Now, this is the course structure. Basically, you know about the units. In number system, marks allotment is 6 marks. Number system, you have only one chapter, that is real numbers, and only 6 marks are allotted for this. And you can easily make out what all topics you have done in your real numbers. You have done fundamental theorem of arithmetic, LCM, HCF. Sorry, not HCF. HCF has been deleted. Only LCM. Then you have terminating and non-terminating decimals, and then you have irrationality of rational numbers, irrational numbers. So 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark questions. You might get 3 questions from real numbers. Okay, so do all the 3 topics nicely so that you can easily score these 6 marks. Now in algebra has 20 marks basically, and algebra is a big unit. It consists of your polynomials, then linear equations in 2 variables, quadratic equations, and arithmetic progression. I'll be coming into detail in the next slides. Coordinate geometry, 6 marks have been allotted. What is deleted, I'll be letting you know after this. Geometry, 15 marks. Again, in geometry, you have 3 chapters: similar triangles, circles, and constructions. Trigonometry, again, you have 2 chapters. One is Introduction to Trigonometry, and second is Applications of Trigonometry. Mensuration, 10 marks, is for areas related to circle and volume and surface area. Statistics and probability is for 11 marks, and that constitutes statistics and probability. Now, coming over to the portion of the syllabus deleted by CBSE for class 10th maths exam for 2021. This is a major thing we need to discuss here. Now, the first unit, as I told you, 6 marks are allotted for this unit. Real numbers, this is the syllabus written here. This I have taken from CBSE site. So this is the syllabus they have mentioned, but they have not mentioned the deleted portion here. So I have make a note of it here in the about the deleted portion as well. So what they have deleted from real numbers is, if you want, you can take the screenshots of this, because I have seen many videos on YouTube, and I don't think that they let you know the correct thing in all the videos. So please don't get misguided by those videos. Some of them are very good, but some of them I found some of the mistakes in those videos. So please, you can take a screenshot if you want. So from real numbers, Euclid's division lemma has been deleted, which is given on page number 2. So related to Euclid's division lemma, exercise 1.1 is completely deleted. And examples 1, 2, 3, and 4, they have been deleted from this chapter. Second is your unit 2. As I told you, algebra is a big unit having 4 chapters. 20 marks total have been allotted for this unit. They have deleted a major portion, that is statement and problems related to division algorithm. This was a very of polynomials which have been deleted. So you don't have to do that last exercise 2.3, which was based on long division method, division algorithm, as well as examples 6, 7, 8, 9, you need not do. From optional exercise, I think first and second question can be done. The remaining questions you can leave out. Next is,
Ma'am, I think the audio mic has been covered with something. Suddenly your voice has reduced.
right, all right. Maybe I
Yes, it's better now.
right. Okay. Next is pair of linear equations in 2 variables. Rest everything is there in the syllabus. Only one topic, that is cross multiplication method, which was one of the 3 methods of solving the linear equations. You have a substitution method, you have elimination method, and the third one was cross multiplication method. And this cross multiplication method has been deleted from the syllabus. So if I say exercise 3.3 question number 1, you need not do, I don't want to say that, because that is based on cross multiplication. Okay, you don't do by cross multiplication, but you can do the same question by the other 2 methods, okay, by substitution or by elimination method. Next is your quadratic equations. In quadratic equations, solution of a quadratic equation by completing the square. This method has been deleted last year itself. So again, this year it is already deleted. The main thing that they've deleted this year is the situational problems based on equations reducible to quadratic equations. For example, in your exercise 4.3, that is question number 1, that is based on completing the squares, that is anyway not there. From exercise 4.3, if you look at question number 4 onwards, these are the questions based on equations reducible to quadratic equations. For example, if you come across the questions based on upstream and downstream, or speed, distance, and time, or there is a one question which is based on the tap of smaller diameter, bigger diameter, these type of questions they have deleted from this chapter. Then from arithmetic progressions, again, application in solving daily life problems based on the sum of n natural number, sum of n terms, sorry. So from exercise 5.3, question number 15 to 20, these type of questions have been deleted, and example number 16 on page number 111 has also been deleted. It means these type of questions you need not do for this exam. Next is your coordinate geometry. Now, again, somebody is annotating that this distract.
Ma'am, you have the panel right. Kindly just click and close the annotation rights, please. Since you're sharing the screen, the rights are with you.
Right.
Students, don't waste your time and the others. It's a very crucial session. If you're not interested, you could please leave us politely at request. But please don't force us to remove you. It's very embarrassing. You're our guests and we love to have you on the session.
Okay. Can I start? Yeah.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. In coordinate geometry, first and second exercises, that is, first is based on distance formula. Second is based on section formula. Both these are there in the syllabus. But what has been deleted from the syllabus is the third exercise, which was finding the area of a triangle whose 3 vertices are given. So that exercise number 7.3 you need not do, and example number 11 to 15 you can leave. This is not in the syllabus. Next is again this. Again, I'm not able to change the slide. 1 minute. I'm not able to change the slide now. Again.
Rekha ma'am, kindly give me the stop sharing the screen, please. I'll use it.
All right. Again, geometry, I told you there are 3 chapters. One is circles, second is similar triangles, and the third one is constructions. Now, from the chapter of circles, nothing has been deleted. So this topic you have to do completely. Next, yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, from triangles, from the chapter of triangles, similar triangles, the proofs of the following 2 theorems have been deleted. That is the area theorem that you have done and that you used to do earlier, but this time you don't have to do. And second is converse of Pythagoras theorem. The proofs of these theorems are not in the syllabus. Okay, but the statement you should know and you should be able to do the questions as well. Next slide, please. Yeah, from constructions, again, there are 2 exercises, exercise 11.1 and 11.2. Exercise 11.1, the first question is based on the division of a line segment in a given ratio internally. That is there in the syllabus, but the remaining exercise, question number 2 to 7, is not in the syllabus because construction of a triangle similar to a given triangle, this portion has been deleted from this chapter. So the questions are from 2 to 7. All the questions have been deleted. Only the first question you have to do from exercise 11.1, whereas exercise 11.2, which is based on tangents to a circle from a point outside it, this you have to do completely. Exercise 11.2, nothing has been deleted. Yeah, next slide, please. Then it is trigonometry. In trigonometry, you have introduction to trigonometry, and then heights and distance. From the application means heights and distance topic, nothing has been deleted, but from the first chapter of trigonometry, that is I think chapter number 8, introduction, trigonometric ratios of complementary angles have been deleted. That means exercise 8.3 is not to be done. Rest everything is there in the syllabus. They have also written here proof and application of identities sin square a plus cos square a is equal to 1. They have not written the other two identities that we do, but I feel children it's better if you learn those two identities as well, because in some of the questions you might have to use those identities. So I would not suggest you not to do the other two identities. 1 plus tan square is equal to secant square theta and 1 plus cot square is equal to cosecant square theta. That you must learn the identity. Okay, not very difficult to learn. Only exercise 8.3 you can leave out. Next please. Yeah, from mensuration, areas related to circles and surface area and volume. Now in areas related to circle, nothing much has been deleted. Only problems based on central angle of 120 degree have been deleted. You know children, when you find out the area of the segment of a circle, then you write area of the sector minus area of a triangle. Now when it comes to area of a triangle, triangle can be of, it may be an equilateral triangle, it may be a right angled triangle, or it may be a triangle in which one of the angles is 120 degrees. So those type of questions in which angle is given to be 120 degree, those type of questions you need not do. Okay. And from surface area and volume, frustum of a cone, which is given on page number 252, exercise 13.4 completely you don't have to do, and examples 12, 13 and 14 also you don't have to do. So that is the deletion from surface area and volume, which is a major topic actually, frustum of a cone. Very complicated formulas you had to learn, so that they have deleted from your syllabus. You don't have to do that. Next please. Yeah, statistics and probability. Again, from probability, nothing has been deleted. And statistics, I think they have deleted a major portion. First is mean. When you find out the mean, there used to be 3 methods of finding the mean. One was a direct method, second is assumed mean method, and the third one is step deviation method. So they have deleted, CBSE has deleted the step deviation method of finding the mean. The other 2 methods are in the syllabus. Second mode is completely there, but they are saying bimodal solution situation to be skipped out. And third one is the median. So finding the median is very much there in the syllabus. The only thing that they have deleted is the last exercise, that is cumulative frequency curve. You don't have to do. So that is a major part which they have deleted. So you have to do till exercise 14.3. So I repeat again, step deviation method, not to be done. Cumulative frequency curve, that is ogive, which you call, that is not in the syllabus this year. And exercise 14.4, which is based on making an ogive, has been deleted completely. So that was all about the syllabus that has been deleted. I hope things are more clear to you now. Yes, please, next slide. Yeah.
Ma'am, there are a lot of questions that are coming. Would you like to take them in the end, or can I ask you a few questions from the participants right now?
Yes, yes, right now.
Okay, ma'am, students want to understand that this deletion that is happening, will this also affect the future classes? Because some topics they're saying that are now being deleted, will they cause trouble because the base will be shaken, they feel? So what's your message to them, ma'am?
Yes, definitely. I believe that, yes, this shouldn't have been done, but yes, because of the circumstances, I think CBSE has to take this step. But yes, if possible, if you feel that you can do these topics, maybe not prepare for your exam, but if you can learn them right now in class 10th itself, it will be good for your future. Yes, definitely.
Also, ma'am, students want to know, some of them are from the state board.
Yeah.
Does the same thing apply to them as well, ma'am, or should they investigate further with their respective schools?
No, I think CBSE is same for all the states. I believe so. Still, if they want, they can clarify it once with their particular state and school.
All right. Great. And students, I'm reading your questions. Don't worry. Please keep patience. We will not let ma'am go without answering your questions. So please give us some time to finish. And Dharya, we will show you the screen again, but don't break the flow of the session. We will come back to your slides. Okay, so don't worry. So ma'am, I'm going to change the slide for you now.
Okay, these are some of the common mistakes I wanted to take over. Because for that, I will be needing the screen sharing option. I'll be using my iPad for explaining the points. But before that, if you, yes, I can see many of the questions in the chat box. So you can share the questions first. I think I'll come to these things later on.
Certainly, ma'am. Case studies have MCQs is what they want to know, ma'am.
Case studies, yes, they are MCQs. All the questions will be MCQs only. They have to choose the correct option.
All right. Ma'am, Abhijit wants to know that is this all for standard or basic math as well?
Both. The paper pattern is absolutely the same for both the papers, whether it is standard or basic. Absolutely the same.
Okay, Vikas, you will have to use the chat box better to write your questions. We are reading your questions. So please keep posting them. No constructions need steps. Do constructions need steps, ma'am? Vinati wants to ask you.
See, if in the question, if it is not mentioned to write down the steps, there is no need to write the steps at all. Only if they write that please write the steps of construction. If it is written in the question, then only you have to write. Otherwise, there's no need. What is important in construction is that suppose you have constructed something, you have constructed the tangent. In the end, it is very important to write which tangents you have drawn. Like you, in the end, you write PA and PB are the required tangents. That is a very important point. Students miss out on that point. They simply draw the figure and leave it, thinking that the examiner will know by himself that which are the tangents constructed by me. But you must mention it in the end. That is very important. Okay, steps of constructions you have to write only when asked for. Otherwise, there's no need to write. Justification, if you want, in one step or in one line, you can justify your answer that why is PA and PB the tangent to the circle. You can just write down the main theorem which we have used for justifying your answer. Steps are not important unless asked for. Okay.
Ma'am, they want to confirm with you once arithmetic progression is out of syllabus now, is what they're confirming with you, ma'am.
Arithmetic progression, not all. I told you from the last exercise 5.3, only the word problems based on sum of n terms is deleted. Rest everything is there.
I hope you've heard that. And ma'am, the squaring both sides method is deleted or not, they want to know.
Squaring both sides method, there is no such method.
Shubham, you have to be more precise. There's a confusion in your question. Ma'am, okay, ma'am, do part A need figures to be drawn?
Part A, no. No, absolutely no. Even if it is a geometry question and the figure is given in the question, there is no need to copy down the figure in 1 marker questions. But yes, if it is a 2, 3, 4 mark questions, all the figures of geometry need to be drawn on the sheet. And yes, in 1 marker questions, suppose if the figure is not given, then the child can draw a rough figure with the hand, because in geometry, without figures, question doesn't mean anything. Okay, if in 1 marker, if the figure is given in the question paper, you need not draw the figure. You can simply write your answer. But if the figure is not given in the question, then you can just draw a rough figure by the side of the question and do the question accordingly.
So ma'am, they're asking, can they write direct questions in part A for 1 markers, then just directly answer?
Direct answer, yes, they need to write direct answer. Just explain the major, very important steps they have to write. Not each and every detail, but yes, the major points they have to write and ultimately reach the answer. Answer should be correct.
Okay, ma'am, we've taken the recent questions. You can please proceed. I'll keep an eye on the chat and we'll keep raising your questions to ma'am.
Okay. I think now I am able to share my screen. So, okay, let me explain it with this slide only. Why to change again and again, right? So children, see, these are the very common mistakes made by the students. Like if you just look at the last step here, it is under root 2k square. So in a hurry, what students normally do is that they take out, remove the square root sign from both the numbers and they write the answer as 2k. So please take care of that. When it is 2, it has to remain under the square root sign. So this is the correct answer. Root 2k is the correct answer for this. Similarly, when you have to do the square of 7x minus 3, you all know the identity a minus b whole square. I know that, okay? But whenever it comes to squaring any binomial, while doing the question, I don't know why most of the students forget to apply the identity and they simply write it as 7x square minus 3 square. Whereas it should be 7x whole square means a square minus 2ab plus b square. So instead of writing this, they simply write 7x square minus 3 square, and this step itself is wrong. When you do 7x square, it should not be 7x square, it should be 7x whole square. There should be a bracket on 7x and then square should be there at the top. So that makes it 49x square. So this is the correct answer here. So this way, I know all of you know how to open it out, but during exam, you panic a little sometimes and you get to make these mistakes. So take care of these things. And I told you about the notes copy to be made in the beginning. So these kind of mistakes you can mention there, that whenever the square of a binomial has to be done, I don't have to write this. This is the correct way to do it, right? Next, please. You can skip this slide. This was not in the syllabus completing. Yeah. Factorize x square upon 4 minus y square upon 9. Again, children, you all know the identity that we are going to use here will be a square minus b square, right? But you don't choose a and b correctly here. What you write is x upon 4 you assume as a and y upon 9 you assume as b. Whereas first you need to write both the terms in the form of perfect square. X upon 4 can be written as, x square upon 4 can be written as x square upon 2 square, which in turn becomes x upon 2 whole square. This is the correct way of writing. And then your a becomes x by 2 and b becomes y by 2. So when you open out, you get x by 2 plus y by 3 and this. This is the wrong way because this is a very common mistake which I have observed in my previous years. So that is why I'm pointing out these mistakes. Okay. Yeah, the next one is very important. Again, it's a very, very common. I think when I check the board papers, in almost all the papers, I see this mistake. So please don't repeat this. What is it? You have to find the solution of the quadratic equation. 3x square is equal to x. Now what happens? Normally children, they tend to cancel out x from both the sides. And you are left with 3x is equal to 1 and x is equal to 1 by 3. Do you think this is correct? When you look at the equation, it is 3x square is equal to x. That means it is a quadratic equation. And all of you know that in quadratic equation, we should have two solutions. And here what you have done by cancelling out one x, you have already deleted one of the solutions and you are left with only one solution, 1 by 3. So what you need to do is 3x square is equal to x can be written as, this is the correct way. Just look onto the right hand side. 3x square minus x is equal to 0. Again, you take x common and 3x minus 1. Then you put x equal to 0 and also put 3x minus 1 equal to 0. And that gives you x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 1 by 3 as two solutions for this. Now, let me tell you one thing here. Whenever we come across this kind of a situation, see, most probably what happens in most of the questions, x is equal to 0 actually anyway has to be deleted from the answer. So your answer comes right, like x is equal to 1 by 3 is the correct answer. But suppose if the child has done the entire paper correctly, 80 marks paper, and in the end, when the examiner sees the child is getting 80 marks, then your paper is looked into once again. It gets scrutinized by so many examiners, head examiner, everyone, and they see there should not be little bit of mistake in your paper. Your paper should be perfect to get 80 marks in the paper. Okay, so they will look into your paper again, and then the examiner will point out, yes, this child has not taken X common. Maybe initially they have given you full marks on this step, but when they relook into your paper, they will say, no, this step has not been done. So this is not perfect. This is not the right way. Maybe an average student, they will miss out this step and they will not deduct a mark. But yes, before giving 80 marks, they will definitely look into this step. So take care of these things as well. Yes, please, next slide. Again, square of 3x, it's again a very common mistake. You write 3x square. It should not be written like this. It should be 3x whole square, which comes out to be 9x square. I'm not saying that you people are not aware of these. I know you all know what is the meaning of this, but yes, in exam, you tend to make these mistakes. So I want you to point out these mistakes and write it down in your notes copy somewhere, not to do these mistakes in your exams. And this I'm telling with my own experience of teaching so many years. I've observed what kind of mistakes children make in exam. So based on that, I'm telling you all these points. Similarly, square of -2, you just write -2 square, and which comes out to be -4. Again, this is wrong. And this is -2 whole square, which is equal to 4. This should be taken care of. Minus के ऊपर भी square है, so that becomes a plus sign when you do the squaring of minus. Next slide, please. Yeah, in these type of questions here, there's a minus sign here. X minus 1/2 minus 2x plus 3/3. When you look at a minus sign here, please put a bracket on this second expression completely. When you take the LCM, there should be a bracket here. Okay, and when you open it out, this sign will be changed. This 4x minus 6, it should be. What children do normally is this. This is the mistake they make. They write 3x minus 3 minus 4x plus 6. So please take care that that sign has to be changed. The minus sign here means it is for both the terms. So when you open out the bracket, the minus sign should get into the bracket and change both the signs. Okay, so that is a mistake that you have to take care of. Next slide, please. Yeah, art integrated project, I think I've already spoken about. I just show the last slide of this art integrated. Yeah, this is the, yeah, this one. Pairing of states and union territories for CBSE art integration project work. These are the states they have connected to. I just spoke about Delhi and Sikkim. You can take a screenshot to whichever state you belong to. You can see that your state is paired with which another state. And children, this is very important to do this project, art integrated learning project, because without this, CBSE is not going to issue admit cards to the students who will not submit this project. So this is very important. So all of you be prepared with your projects, and whenever CBSE will ask, the schools will have to upload your work to CBSE site. Okay, so be ready with your work. Maybe in the month of January, they can ask you to upload. You don't have to upload, your schools will upload, but you have to give it to your teachers, submit it to your teachers. Okay? Yeah.
I'm reading some questions for you.
Yes.
They want to ask that completing squares method is coming or not. This is the first one, ma'am.
I think they're talking about quadratic equations.
Yes.
Finding the solution of a quadratic equation by the method of completing the squares. Okay. No, that is not there. I told you that has been deleted last year itself, and this year again it is not in the syllabus. That will not be there.
Okay. Ma'am, Nikhil wants to know that if he's got the steps right, but somewhere he's gone wrong and the solution is not correct, will they get marks for the steps or not, ma'am?
Yes, yes, definitely. You will get marks. There's a proper marking scheme in board exam, and the examiner has to follow that marking scheme. Now, suppose by mistake, if any examiner has just looked into the answer and he has put cross on your question and it was for 4 marks and he has given you 0 in that paper, then CBSE has given you the option for the children to get their papers rechecked. They give the photocopy of their answer sheet. The child can go through all the questions. They can discuss with their teachers after the result is announced. They can discuss with their teachers, and if the teacher says no, you should get 2 marks minimum in this question, then they can apply for rechecking of their paper, mentioning that this is the question where I feel I should get marks for the steps, and your marks might get changed if it is genuine, if it is correct.
Ma'am, Aditya wants to know that will it be better to do sample papers first or start with previous year papers?
First do the sample papers, because sample papers, this a new pattern is there, so you must do the sample papers first. Then do the previous years also.
Ma'am, 2 very related questions. How should we study with only few months left and what should be our strategy? And another student has asked, how do I control the anxiety related to maths that I feel?
Okay. Anxiety related, I think I know I can understand that with so much of syllabus and everything. Yeah. So what you should do is do a lot of meditation, breathing exercises. I think that is the best way you can release anxiety. I can't think of any medicines, nothing. Just do a lot of breathing exercises. That is meditation. That will help you a lot in getting over from this anxiety.
And any steps on any strategy, ma'am, now for the rest remaining months?
Yeah. So, children, what you need to do is see, you start preparing now. Still, you have the month of December, entire month of December is there, January is there, February is there. Okay, right? Normally, your exams start in the month of March. This year, we are not clear whether the exams are going to start in March or maybe they are postponed a little bit. We are not yet sure about that. So, still, if you take 3 months, you still have with you. So, in all, you have only 14 chapters with you. So, just make a scheme like what you have to do first. Like, you just choose the chapters which you find scoring. Like I talked about, the last unit was statistics and probability. It carries 11 marks. 11 marks. It's so simple to get those marks. Probability, very limited portion is there. Just do all the questions of probability from all the sample papers and all the previous year's papers. Okay, that you come to know that this is the kind of question that come in exam, that will come in exam. So probability you can do very easily. It's a very short chapter. And this statistics also, just finding the mean, median and mode. Three methods, and one question is definitely going to come from that chapter, you know that. So you just first complete your statistics and probability part. Then you can move on to those chapters which you know what kind of questions are going to come. Maybe if you look at coordinate geometry, 6 marks are fixed. If you know how to use distance formula, how to use section formula, only these are the two topics which you have to prepare for coordinate geometry. So as you do more and more chapters, you will start feeling confident. Okay, I've done so many chapters, so these many marks are fixed for me. Then real numbers, again 6 marks, terminating, non-terminating decimals, you can easily talk about. Then how to prove the irrationality of the number. One method, if you understand, you can do any question based on that. And one question surely comes from that portion. Then there's a formula for LCM and HCF. LCM into HCF is product of two numbers. Based on that, you can do the question. So these are the chapters which you can quickly do. Then coming over to geometry, that is, I think 15 marks. 15 marks for geometry. And there are three chapters. One is constructions, one is circles, and one is your similar triangles. Now understand one thing, out of these 15 marks, one question definitely is going to be from constructions, maybe 5 marks or maybe 3 marks, because this is the first time they have changed the pattern. So we don't know where they're going to put that question for, whether 3 marks or 5 marks. So one of the question has to be from constructions. Then second question can be from circles or similar triangles. One theorem is sure to come in exam. So just revise your theorems well, maybe for 3 marks or for 5 marks. And then remaining part is left for questions. So just try out the questions and finish off your geometry in that way. And then you are left with your polynomials. Again, polynomials has become very easy these days now, because you don't have to do anything else. Just first exercise, what is that? You have to find out the zeros of the given polynomial and the zeros and the coefficients. You have to connect them. So that exercise you can do. Simple, very simple. You know that this question is going to come. So why not to practice that question? So in 10th class, it is very, very easy to score marks. Just do systematic study. I think 3 months are more than enough for revising the entire maths syllabus. Again, when it comes to volume and surface area, the major topic of frustum has been deleted. So what are you left with? Finding the surface area, finding the volume. One exercise is entirely based on surface area. One exercise is entirely based on volume. And the third exercise is based on conversion of one solid to another solid. Just understand the concept and start doing the questions. And if the concept is clear, believe me, you can do any question from anywhere. You don't have to worry about where should I practice these questions from. Like, you should understand, when you find out the total surface area of a combination of solids, children sometimes make this kind of a mistake, that they feel that if the cylinder is there and a cone is there, they start writing the total surface area of a cone plus total surface area of a cylinder. So don't do that. Just understand what is the meaning of total surface area. Total surface area is actually that area which is exposed to the surroundings, means which you can touch with your hands. That area you have to calculate. So when there is a cylinder and at the top of it there is a cone, that circle in between the cone and the cylinder is not exposed to the surroundings. So that area you need not calculate. So you just have to calculate the curved surface area of cone and the curved surface area of the cylinder. And if the base is fixed, you need not find out the base as well. So these type of tips you have to remember, and that way you can do the revision. That will be quite helpful to you. Yes, Neha?
Ma'am, they're asking, should they just fall back on NCRT, or would you also suggest them to do the other books as well, ma'am? The NCRT exemplars and the other authors also they want to know.
Right. So for basic exam, as I told you, mostly I think NCRT you should do. Entire exercise, don't leave anything from your NCRT book. For standard paper, yes, most of the paper is based on NCRT only, but yes, maybe 15 to 20% paper maybe from outside NCRT. So for that you must practice, yes, NCRT exemplar you must do, and you can choose any one reference book. I will not name R.D. Sharma or this and that. Just pick up any one book together with mathematics, comprehensive mathematics, exam idea. There are variety of books available in the market. So please don't run after each and every book. Just take one book, keep with you, and because more or less the questions are same in all the reference books. So just do any one reference book, exemplar, NCRT. That's enough. Plus sample papers, obviously you have to do. And if your school is giving some assignments, that also can be done. Right.
Ma'am, 1 hour 25 minutes you've spoken without breath. So I think kids, we should be very, very grateful to ma'am. And ma'am, this recording will be circulated to all CBSE students across, and there's going to be so much help that will be provided with all the great inputs that have come. Students, the questions that you are left with very quickly, that how would we see the recording of this, or will we get the recording? All these programs that we do will be uploaded on the Career Launcher channel. So just follow us on YouTube and you will find all these recordings. They'll be highly circulated so you can keep them safe with you and use them towards your exams. Also, those of you who've asked me about the social studies link. Yes, there's a similar social studies session happening tomorrow at 11 in the morning, where an expert will be covering tips on social studies. The same page that you've used to log into this, you will be using the same page to register and log in. The YouTube channel, you can just type the NCSE, National Channel for School Education. I'm repeating, National Channel for School Education. That is the Career Launcher channel. And you could also follow the Career Launcher channel on YouTube. Both of them will have this video circulated. So now quickly, students, take out a minute to give a big thank you to ma'am, who has so, selflessly spoken to us for the last almost nearly 90 minutes. Ma'am, I must compliment you as also another speaker, that in the entire session, we've barely had any audience drop out. So that just compliments the quality of the session, that we started with about 80 and almost till about 10 minutes back, we've maintained the number of 80. So thank you so much, Rekha ma'am, for everything. Thank you so much for all the important tips that you've covered. I'm sure that the students have greatly benefited, and we'll keep troubling you and seeking your guidance for the sessions ahead. So students, I give this off to you for a good thank you quickly on the chat boxes for ma'am, Rekha ma'am especially. And once it is circulated and you've subscribed the channel, you will get an alert that this particular session has been loaded. So with this, thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you all the students who have been with us today and attended this session. Thank you, Neeraj. You're sending me messages privately. I wish ma'am could see this as well.
Yeah, all the messages. Yeah. And yes, frankly speaking, I didn't realize that I've spoken for 90 minutes. You told me that I've spoken for 90 minutes.
Yes,
I really didn't realize. I was so engrossed into this.
excellent.
So,
Thank you so much once again, ma'am, and we wish you good luck as well. And thank you, students. All the best for your boards, and we hope that you do really, really well. Thank you so much, ma'am.
all the best, children. Thank you.